eventually you get absorbed in, and you are Sonic.
Hey bros, welcome to The Rager. This is No Repeat. It's a podcast where we pick 3 songs every week, no repeats, no do-overs, no bummers, to create a perfect playlist for every party, every tailgate, every Rager. I'm Taylor, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Tyler.
Well, bad news, I really have to pee. The good news, I feel infinite, baby. Let's go.
And Sean.
If you're overcome with shame and you know it, clap your hands.
Tyler, what are we doing at tonight's party?
This week you're trying to find the perfect song for shotgunning a non-alcoholic beer just to feel something. Submitted by me! And if you want to submit your own, we got a Discord. You can check the description below. Check it out. Join it. We post calls for challenges, and you can get your choices read aloud here.
I just learned something. I did not realize that the challenge was non-alcoholic beer.
Did you shotgun a real beer?
Absolutely.
Sean shotgun.
Oh, no.
And he said...
No, it's been non-alcoholic the whole time.
No, it probably has been. I just don't read.
Taylor wanted it to be a regular one, but I was like, no. I think this is a specific instance that I was like, I want to see what this feels like. I wanna feel this.
Okay.
So, what percentage was the beer that you shotgunned, Sean?
Like 5.
Damn, son! I mean, I was halfway through drinking a 5% beer when I shotgunned my 0% beer. But...
Well, it was either that or sparkling water, and I'm not...
Ooh, no.
No, that's a recipe for gastrointestinal distress. Yeah.
That's acid reflux city right there. So, we have to do the obligatory questions, right? Had you ever shotgunned a beer before this afternoon? Sean?
No.
Tyler?
There's probably been a random time, but I would say, I think more importantly is it a thing I've done more than once on purpose? And I would say no. I probably, I don't know, I definitely haven't done, the key. I've maybe, chugged.
That's what I'm thinking. I know I've chugged a beer many, many, many times. I don't know that I've shotgunned a beer. If I have, it was definitely only once in college to say that I'd done it. Which is kind of surprising, because I feel like of the 3 of us, I probably drink the most, ? But I also, go to soccer matches, 6 to 10 times a year and tailgate before almost all of them. And that would be the environment where I would shotgun a beer, but it just hasn't happened. I had also never drank a full non-alcoholic beer before I shotgunned one this afternoon. Have you guys become proponents of the non-alcoholic beer?
Yes. I have them. It's not something that I seek out all the time, but yes. There are good ones. There are bad ones.
I guess I suppose it depends if you consider the weird Delta 8 and Delta 9 things also non-alcoholic.
They're California sober.
Yeah. I would say that I have a sort of a thing that's called hop water that's mostly just a sparkling water, and I drink that all the time. I think that's great. But non-alcoholic specifically, no.
Yeah, my only knowledge of non-alcoholic beer other than O'Doul's started last summer when I visited Sean, and I don't remember if we bought a 6-pack of those athletic non-alcoholics or if you just had some left over in your fridge or something.
Oh, we had some left over.
Yeah, because I tried one that you had opened, and I remember thinking, this tastes like if I asked someone who had never had a beer before to draw me a picture of a beer.
Okay.
Like, it's real close, but it's not quite there.
Sure.
And from what I've heard from other people, the IPAs are better, and like even some of the darker ones are better than like the lagery ones, because those ones just taste like even less of a nothing than a normal like Bud Light does. Can anyone back me up on this?
No, they have a taste. It's not absolutely amazing. I think the darker ones have more body and subsequently more taste. But I wouldn't say that they're like... Some brands really kill it, other ones don't. Athletic, not my favorite.
Really?
Like
they're like
they're
one.
really prevalent. No, they're not. There's a lot. Old Milwaukee makes an NA. That is the worst.
Ugh. Yeah, I have Athletics Free Wave Hazy IPA down in the fridge. That's what I shotgunned this afternoon. And, you know, it ain't bad. Like, I'll finish the 6-pack for sure. But I don't know if I'll buy another one.
I feel like for me, I think the problem is that it's like, well, I'm kind of wanting the associated feelings with just like drinking a beer, because I feel like a lot of the flavor isn't like, I feel like I'm not necessarily like a beer guy, like, at least not like a lager style, you know. That's not really like something that feels like that appealing to me. And so like drinking it without like the effect of getting a little buzz from it is like, well, what's the point then? What am I even doing this for? Versus like, you know, I feel like at that point it's like, if you're just not gonna drink, you just have something else. You just like have a nice juice or a sparkle water.
A nice juicing.
Yeah, see, I like the taste of beer, so yeah, it is good for me, and I could see a world where maybe once I find one of these I really like, I keep some on hand. I could also see, like, say I'm at the soccer game, instead of having my 3 beers and bottled waters before I go into the stadium, maybe I have 2 regular beers and one non-alcoholic, just to like take it down a notch. Like, I think mixing them into the rotation is probably where they would fall for me.
Yeah, that's my play.
Because it like in the mix, it's not as glaringly not beer.
Yeah, you're just drinking whatever. And to be fair, it sort of feels like after a certain amount of point, there's a extremely like diminishing return. It's like, mostly at some point I'm like, I cannot have this much liquid. That there's too much inside of me. I'm like,
it's very real.
Yeah.
It's very real. I will say though, shotgunning this afternoon, not having the alcohol was helpful, because the little bit that I got up my nose didn't hurt. And I've gotten alcoholic beer up my nose, mostly from laughing while drinking, and it doesn't feel good. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend. So let's turn to the challenge itself.
Yeah.
Tyler said, shotgunning a non-alcoholic beer just so you can feel something. Would you like to elaborate on that, bud?
So, I don't know. I think mostly it just sounded like a funny thing to say, which is usually how most of my challenges come through. But I feel like I guess it was trying to think of the distinct situation in which someone would do that. Like, I'm curious about the circumstance that would result in that. You know, like what type of person is this? Who is this? I don't know. I have no idea. And so I sort of said it out loud, and I said, I don't know. Now we have to figure out the story for this. Let's build a world together. But I mean, like, if I have to guess, I mean, it's sort of like all of us kind of probably at this point where it's like, you know, we could probably drink a lot, but do we want to? No. It's like, is it fun to drink in excess? Sometimes. All the time? No. I don't know. I'm like thinking about like doing it for the first time. I was like, I mean, it was exhilarating. I was entertained by the feeling of jamming something in there, getting my face completely sprayed with sticky beer, and then just drink it as quickly as possible. I feel like I did a really bad job of actually getting it all down in one go. I don't know how anyone could do that.
Yeah, let's dissect a little bit. So the challenge was to shotgun a non-alcoholic beer.
Yeah.
Just to feel something. And we have video of all three of us doing this. I would say Tyler's, while funny, was maybe the least effective.
Yeah. I watched the YouTube video in advance to make sure I got the technique right, and I messed it up both times.
Tell me you didn't go to a party school without telling me you didn't
I went
go
to a
party
commuter school.
We know, bud. We know. My question, though, is between Sean and I's videos. When you watch mine, I jam the key in, pull it out, pop the top, start drinking. I didn't get sprayed by anything. But you guys...
Yeah, I don't know how yours was alive.
That's what I mean. I don't
Tyler's like got him in the face.
Yeah, Tyler got like beer in his eye.
I was hurt.
And then I immediately felt like I did it wrong. I was like thinking back to every time I've seen it done in a movie, and I'm like, are you supposed to shake the beer beforehand?
I mean, for the novelty.
Because that sounds awful.
I mean, I knew there was supposed to be a little bit of like spray, and I was trying to be a little more careful because I just got out of the shower. So I was like, okay, gotta go outside.
Oh, definitely an outdoor activity.
Or a house made out of plywood.
But I see, actually, I wanted to get better at this. Kind of what I learned was, in fact, I made the hole too small.
Same.
And really, if I wanted to gun it like hard, I should have went bigger.
Yeah, I used a bike lock key, and that was not big enough.
That's what I did too. No, it wasn't. Like, I should have twisted it or something. I should have went.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have keys. Like, all of our cars don't have keys anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I have a house key, I guess, but...
Yeah. I don't know. First I thought about using a knife. And I was like, well, I'll try it. Yeah.
Also would have been good.
Yeah, see, I think you could get a much larger hole with a pocket knife. If I have to do it again, that's
really
probably what I'll do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
But then you have to clean your knife.
Right, and it's a whole thing, and it's a special knife, and it's just not, you know...
I did see at one point on TikTok Shop, a guy, like, made a thing specifically for this that, like, clips around the bottom of the can and is like a little spout.
That just feels like you don't need an object.
Oh, okay.
For, like, if you're...
No, but if you're doing this, like, semi-regularly, I would do that, because, like, it's dishwasher safe. You just pop that bitch, like... Just run it through a heat cycle and you're good to shotgun another day, you know?
I just love Tyler's that he's just... As soon as he hits it, it just blows up. And I just thinking, like... then he spills half of it. Then it's just so good. Like, his video was so good.
We'll put all the videos on Instagram and maybe do, like, a reel of all three of them in succession with our songs. Because they are very fun to watch. All right, let's get into the songs. We've rambled on long enough.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? Who feels like shotgunning this non-alcoholic beer really made them feel alive today?
Who picked Green Day?
I did.
Okay, that's you. You're up.
All right. Rock and roll, baby.
All right, yeah.
This week I chose Look Ma No Brains by Green Day.
Maybe I'm in love with the deviant. Maybe I got terminal vertigo. I defy the size of a missing link. Oh God, I think I'm gonna lose my skull. I said, look, Mom, I ain't got no brains. I'm a goner, and I don't feel no pain. I was stupid.
A new Green Day song at that.
A new Green Day song, a 2024 Green Day song from their album Saviors. Look, I'm going to explain the person first before I talk about the song. In my head, if you're shotgunning a non-alcoholic beer, you're probably somehow involved in a subculture that is for heavy drinkers. Right? Maybe it's punk rockers. That's kind of the angle I was going. Maybe it's sports fans. Maybe you're a recovering frat dude. Like, you have in some way been involved in a culture that involves a lot of drinking, but you're either sober or cutting back. And I admire that. I think that's great. And I think latter-day Green Day would also admire that. Late period Green Day is kind of the perfect, like, I used to drink real hard and now I don't, but I'm still in the scene kind of thing. Because, like, ostensibly, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, if anybody else put this song out, if, like, the Chats put this song out, you'd be like, that's a rock solid punk song. It's just the fact that it's Green Day, it does feel a little weird. Because they are, like, in their 50s. And I think that's really, like, the best and worst thing about this new album of theirs is, like, there are real ragers on it, like this song. And then there are other ones that are like, there's an acoustic ballad about being a dad. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just kind of whiplash to have those two things on the same album. There's also a song about how hard it is to live in the 2020s and everything's been crazy since David Bowie died. And like that song's kind of like cringe. You know? And that's what I mean. Like, in isolation, if you're just looking at an aging punk who's kind of sober-ish, shotgunning a beer that's non-alcoholic, you're like, yeah, dude, rock on. Look Ma No Brains is playing on the background. There's a mosh pit happening somewhere. The vibes are good. Everybody's feeling alive for these 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Everything's great. And we're just all being responsible adults while also being punk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I was after.
It makes sense. It adds up. I like this song.
How could you not? It's like Dookie era Green Day.
Yeah, well, I think it's hard because I want to say like they develop and change, but I think that they found their energy again. It's not the same. I don't think it's the same as the Dookie stuff, but it's.
Oh yeah,
has
the
that
production's better,
energy.
the harmonies are better. Like,
Yeah, everything about this it doesn't feel out of date. Like, it doesn't feel like they're trying to redo Dookie, and that says a lot as an artist that you can still have your style and develop, but not have to continue to just either one be out there and say we're a musical act now. We don't have to play the hits. This is who we are. You can still have like the energy of the creation that you made.
and I think what they're doing, the show is like this week in Atlanta, and I'm kind of debating buying a last minute ticket. But I think what they're doing, because it's the 30th anniversary of Dookie, is they're playing all of Dookie and then all of Saviors and then a bunch of
so
hits.
many songs. I guess they're like 2 minutes, so.
Right. Yeah, this album is like 27 minutes long or something. And like Dookie's not that long either. So like, you know, I think it's kind of cool. They're like harkening back to their earlier days, but with a little bit more experience, a little bit more talent, you know. They're also touring with Smashing Pumpkins and Rancid, so like,
let's go.
Yeah, boy.
Pretty good value for your money, just saying.
And you listened to Father of All, right?
Unfortunately.
And that was not what this was, right?
No, this is the album that came out this year. Father of All was like 2 or 3 years ago.
It was 2020, yeah. So I mean, just by comparison.
Oh, dude, the Linda Lindas are their opening act.
Oh, well.
Oh man, this tour actually hits.
Hell yeah.
Those 10-year-olds are really, really getting their sea legs.
All right, continue.
Yeah. So I feel like in terms of our appreciation of the band Green Day, I feel like it took them far less time to recover from, to like kind of course correct. Because I feel like Blink-182 is just kind of now starting to hit back there now that they're all kind of like back together, but even then still kind of like going off course. I don't know. I feel like Green Day has kind of been like, oh, this is the part people actually like us for. And I feel like this is kind of, you get kind of what you expect on the tin. I mean, like, as you said, this sort of is a return to form. And I feel like what's kind of interesting about picking Green Day for this challenge is that they always kind of had this sort of like, almost like either like kid-y, like they sort of feel like they're sort of like they're sort of like acting up their age, like we're trying to be tougher than like older or tougher than we are, but like sort of like aging it down by like having sort of like a maybe like almost like a does Green Day have sort of like a almost like a, I don't want to say nursery rhyme, but like sort of like they have like a very simple like sort of like rhyme scheming sometimes, and they have very sort of like they sort of like relate to things that sort of like feel like very very teenage, I guess, in a way. Like, I don't know. I feel like they've always had that sort of like air about them. And so I feel like you're right. It's either, I do feel like the bar here is that it's basically either you've basically just snuck one of these anyway and you're like 12 and you're like, this is the greatest experience of my life, or you're like 50 and you're like, I just can't. I want to keep doing this.
I gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah. And like, I think there's also something to be said about like the feeling, the environment, the space you're in, and like having the right flavors and the right taste. And it's like, and like I've kind of started to like get that. Like I understand. I don't know, but I feel like yeah, this is a good return to form. I feel like it's I feel like it still has the ABV and the great taste.
Well, I think it probably makes the most sense to go to Tyler's song after mine.
I think so.
Tyler, what did you pick?
All right, this week I chose "Scene Double at the Triple Rock" by No Effect.
It's 3 o'clock in the Triple Rock. Another round of watching Patty talk. It's where you wanna get snowed in. When you get snowed in outside, it's 10 below. Is it day or night? We don't care or know. What we know is that we don't wanna be anywhere but here. Please don't make us leave. When in Minnesota and you got a drinking quota. Wow.
All right, this song's been in my brain since like 2007 when I saw the music video on Fuse, and so I'm like, I'm gonna use this for a challenge someday, because I just think it goes real hard. And so I feel like, sort of like in a similar way to sort of the character that Taylor is kind of crafting, I feel like there's just like someone who's either like trying to like blend in or just trying to like be part of the scene and not like be too worried about waking up for work tomorrow at their 9 to 5. But I also feel like part of the song that I kind of wanted to choose, I also sort of wanted to go into the direction of enjoying like the sort of like the debauchery of the activities of drinking too much and kind of just staying out late and doing whatever. I feel like in some ways I kind of wanted a song that did that, but also sort of like I feel like when I was doing it, I was like, I need a hype up song, you know, and I feel like the song has just enough like startup where it's like you can kind of like time it out. You know, I kind of like when like the vocals start coming in at the very beginning, you're like, okay, cool. And I feel like there's a nice interactive element to that. Because I feel like it's sort of like you're like bracing for impact. You're kind of like waiting for the like, I don't know. I feel like you kind of have to make it something, you know, because I feel like in a way, almost for me, like even though I was drinking something non-alcoholic, I was like, this was actually a surprisingly fun experience. It's very interactive, very, very, very visceral. I felt like actually pretty amped up, and I feel like the best part was that I didn't feel like garbage after. Like I feel great. But yeah, so I feel like the song just has the correct intensity. I feel like the subject matter, I feel like sort of like feels very of the environment in which someone that would sort of like still want a beer but not be able to drink it, and etc.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not a big NoFX fan, but this song rips. It is the exact same length as my pick. 2 minutes, 11 seconds. A sub 2:30 punk song is exactly correct. I think this riff is excellent. Like, people sometimes say that Billy Joe Armstrong is the best punk rock guitarist ever. And I don't know that I totally agree with that. I think he's one of the greats. Like, I think Billy Joe's ability to put together a chord progression is unmatched. Like, he can string together 5 power chords in a way that you will remember for the rest of your life. But he doesn't do these kind of running riffs like this song has, where you're going up and down scales really quickly. And I think hearing these songs back to back, you really get the dichotomy of, like, 2 different approaches to pop punk. One that's very, like, hair metal, heavy chords influenced, and one that's more, like, death metal, slayery, like riffy, very like staccato 30-second note type thing. And I like them both. And I think for this challenge, they both work. Like, this is an amp up song for sure. It reminds me of Thunderstruck by AC/DC, both in terms of its riff and because one of the groups that I tailgate with for soccer games plays the drinking game Thunderstruck. Have y'all ever played Thunderstruck?
No, Taylor. Go ahead and tell us. What's the drinking game Thunderstruck?
Oh, yes, I have, yeah.
I hadn't played it either until I accidentally walked into the circle in the middle of it. So the way it works is you put on Thunderstruck, and it's kind of like doing a waterfall in various types of drinking games. So when the song starts, someone starts drinking, and you drink until the next time they say thunder. And then the person to your right drinks. And they drink until they say thunder, and so on and so forth. The problem is, sometimes you get stuck on a verse, or you get stuck on a guitar solo. And when that happens, you got to drink for like 30, 45 seconds, sometimes close to a minute. And I was playing with somebody who had never played before recently. And I was saying to them, like, it's totally fine. You're going to be okay. Just don't get stuck with the guitar solo. It comes around to me, and wouldn't you know it, I get stuck with the guitar solo. I finish my beer. Somebody hands me another one. I drank a whole beer and a half during this guitar solo. It was not a good time.
All right, so the first one's 30 seconds in. Okay, so that's a lot.
That's what I mean.
Okay, and then 4 seconds later. Okay, 3 seconds later. Okay, so you really want to get in that middle part.
You want to get in exactly the right part, otherwise you're going to get screwed. That's what makes it a fun drinking game. But this song has a similar riff. I think it could be a similar kind of fun for like that kind of environment. Like, it has kind of a chug-a-thon energy to it. And I like that. And it's about being drunk. You know? It has this like religious angle on being drunk, which feels very like in the middle of the 12 steps, kind of. Yeah, this feels appropriate, but it also feels like if you are in recovery, this song may be a little bit much for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Depends how much catharsis you need.
Very true.
It's weird hearing. I think. Ready for a bunch of callbacks. I think Tyler and I saw No Effects at Warped Tour in like 2008, 2007. And I thought they were kind of a cool band to see. I mean, they don't really like hold punches either. They kind of just. They're like attitude punk. They kind of go after everything. Sometimes in a very obvious way. But I think the non-alcoholic part is really funny to this, to think about somebody who's like, it's like, I want to do the fun thing that I can't do anymore. Or like, you're trying to get some buy-in from somebody who doesn't necessarily want to do it. It's like, or you like call somebody out on a bet, and like, you're never gonna do this, and like, no. Like, well, what if it's an NA? And they're like, oh, okay, all right, yeah. And it's like, all right, okay, cool. So it's like a get even kind of song if you have to shotgun a beer, and I appreciate that, because you did have some attitude in your video, which I appreciate. Like, because your NA had some attitude. And I think you gave it right back.
It was not kind to me. It was very visceral. I punctured a huge hole in the first one I did. It was like several, like maybe like an inch wide. I was like, I don't know how I even did this with the car key. Too much.
You got a twist.
Got a twist.
All right, Sean. That just leaves you, my man. What'd you bring us?
All right. This week I chose Psychomatic by the Vines. So, how do I describe this song? It's just 100 all the time with different levels of chug. And that's basically how I felt like Shotgunning the Beer was going to be. Was just... You open the can twice, okay? You're going hard. It's not a delicate situation like a Lady and the Tramp spaghetti dinner in the alley, okay? Like, or a can of Pringles. You're going hard. And I think just some chugging guitars made sense for this.
And the frontman from the Vines always sounds kind of drunk.
They do.
Yeah, I mean, much like Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. And this song doesn't stop. I think Tyler and I's songs are like, I gotta get hyped up for this. Like, this isn't necessarily something I do all the time. Like, I gotta be amped. This song to me feels more like someone who has shotgunned many a beer.
Pro level.
And they may, like Tyler and I have been saying, be at a point in their life where they don't do alcoholic beers, but they know what they're doing. This ain't their first punk rock show.
Yeah, this feels more like someone who accidentally shotgunned the NA. They didn't know that they were doing.
That could be too. They just grabbed the first thing out of the fridge. I think it really fits the vibe as well. Like, it's that 2000s garage rock revival. The guitars are just big and greasy and gross, and that's exactly what you want it to be. And
ooh, dirty. Gotta get that thing a shower. Ooh.
And I made that joke about the frontman sounding drunk, but like, that's one of my favorite things about the Vines. And some of the early Strokes stuff is like, the slurry nature of it, they just sound so like almost uninterested in singing the song, which makes it so cool. Like, the Vines in particular just always felt like too cool for me. Like, you watch videos of them and they're just like all in their matching leather jackets, and he's just kind of like tossing lyrics over his shoulder, and it's like, yeah, man, that's punk as hell. I could totally see an old timer shotgunning an NA to this.
This is not our first Vines pick, right? Maybe not. Or maybe I'm thinking of the Voids.
Or the Hives.
Or the Hives.
Because so many people mix up the Hives and the Vines. The Vines from New York. The Hives from, I want to say, Sweden? Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think. I don't know if we've had this conversation before. No. Interesting.
We have not had the Vines on here. We have had the Hives.
That's right. And because I actually do just keep thinking of, because this isn't the guy that's in, who did the Voids? Who is that?
That's Julian Casablancas, who is also in the Strokes.
Okay. I was going to say that I have full clarity now. Because I was like, this does not sound like him. But yeah, I think Taylor's like commentary was right on, where it's like, it just kind of starts and it just kind of keeps going. And I think, I do feel like chugging is the correct word. 3 different kinds of chugging. I don't know. I feel like, is there multiple ways to do the shotgun? I mean, I guess ideally you breathe through your nose the whole time. You should just get it done.
See, I almost wonder if the right way to do it would be to key the can and then open it up and just chug it through the normal hole.
No, you got it, because you're using the air pressure from the top through the normal opening to push the beer down through the opening you put in the side.
Okay.
Yeah, but I feel like this sort of has a similar vibe to just sort of really the catharsis of enjoying it. Just sort of like, I feel like they're into the lifestyle, but like their doctor told them they had to stop. It's like, well, I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna get in there somehow.
Life finds a way.
I'm still going to the shows. Yes.
You can't continue to do this, but you can continue to get your simple carbs via a brewed beverage. But speaking of simple carbs through a brewed beverage, this is Shotgunning Beers for the Bros, episode 291.
Tyler created a line under my line.
Oh.
This is actually episode 290.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll come back. This is episode 290, Shotgunning a Beer with Bros, or It's a Nice Day for a Shotgun Wedding.
You're welcome.
Tyler's wins out. If you guys want to do this now, we can do that. It was good, but okay. So let's start. Okay. So Ivan said Blackout by Breathe Carolina, and he said Rad Anthem by Rad Omen, and then he left us a nice comment. He said Rad Anthem by Rad Omen. This was the one big pregame songs from college with the engineers at OU. The only time I did anything like shotgunning was to this song, and now, as a sober guy, I'd still ripping old duels to this, which is really funny. And ripping old duels.
Ivan marched in the band at OU.
That's really nice.
He put in his miles. He deserves.
He did. The wildest times, probably.
And I'm glad that he has moved on to a different part of his life and is doing well.
Yeah, it's right. On episode 299 will be shotgunning a cold brew.
We're just gonna keep...
Don't worry.
Beverage month.
Yep. It's called Wet of the Frog is what the shotgunning a cold brew is called. Okay, Julie said Shot Through the Heart by Bon Jovi.
Correct.
Which made me think of anything that has like a powerful drums thing, like I Can Feel It by Phil Collins.
Oh man, if you puncture the can right on that drum hit,
just toon, 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 and then just like bust the can, and yeah, that has to be there. I'm really gonna mispronounce your handle, so I'd Nelly start
LD LD.
Oh,
Nels.
LD.
LD Nels Art.
LD Nelsart picked Pressure to Party by Julia Jacqueline. Hard shout out to you because I picked that song for the show a while ago. And yes, totally. Shotgun and NA would be a total breakup move.
But that is succumbing to the pressure to party.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. I think that it plays very well. And then Angry Tetris picked Just What I Needed by the Cars.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Is that the one where just what I needed, just what I needed? Okay, cool. That's gonna be stuck in my head forever. Wasn't there a song on a commercial in Cincinnati that kind of played like that for a while?
It was a national commercial. It was Staples.
Oh, okay, yeah. So that definitely had it there. Okay, and then sorry everybody, winner for 290. It's a nice day for a shotgun wedding. Gavin picked One Last Breath by Creed.
Correct.
Way to go, Gavin. Gavin, the runner-up in my Drag Race Fantasy League, coming in clutch with the Creed pick. Very
Winner.
out of left field, but I love it.
Like, there should be some sort of social media viral thing where you have a sort of Creed-based drinking karaoke where you have to finish a beer while you karaoke the Creed song.
Or drink until you sound like Scott Stapp.
Yeah. Oh, that would be rough.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really rough. You'd need like a lot of DDs for that one.
Yeah.
Like there definitely need to be waivers. So, well, with that, anybody got some B-sides that didn't get chosen by our listeners?
I mean, I mentioned it before, but Thunderstruck by AC/DC is a great shotgunning song. Come On Feel the Noise by Quiet Riot.
Ooh.
Lots of drum. See, I think Julie captured the drum beat thing for me, and I hear this in those songs. Like Thunder has drums.
Feel the Noise has drums.
That song Kill the Noise has drums.
Well, so here's where I decided to be nicer. Because I did pick my song before I shotgunned the beer.
Okay.
And I'm glad I did because I think the song that I thought about picking would have colored the experience, but also I don't know. We'll need to unpack this. Because I thought non-alcoholic beer, it's a pale imitation of the original. You're trying too hard to be something you're not. Which is why
Like a
my
virgin?
number one B-side was Highway Tune by Greta Van Fleet.
Oh, see?
The non-alcoholic Led Zeppelin.
That's hilarious. I think it would be...
Like, it's not like... Look, if you're out there and you're a Greta Van Fleet superfan, I hope you're not listening to this podcast. Because I'm just going to say it. Just go back and listen to Led Zeppelin.
They got like 10 albums.
They put out like 6 perfect albums and like 4 very good albums. You don't need Greta Van Fleet. No one needed this. But having shotgun to non-alcoholic beer, it is more satisfying than listening to Greta Van Fleet. So
Yeah.
I couldn't in good conscience do that.
I feel like I would also do that with just a fizzy water. I would if I just needed to feel something, I will shotgun into Future. It is a fully entertaining water sport.
So okay, so would you shotgun a Polar Dark Cherry, arguably the most carbonated seltzer water?
Sure, fuck
Oh,
it.
God.
Okay.
Or listen to Highway Tune by Greta Van Fleet twice in a row.
Greta.
I listen. I'll just shotgun whatever. That's fine.
Agreed.
I don't even. This isn't even me inspecting Greta and Fleet as a band. I'm just saying. I'll just do that. I'll just listen. I'm at the pool. Let's go. You know, like I don't know. I feel like it's kind of nice. I do feel like the important qualifier here is that these drinks are not expensive at all because I'm not blowing through my like limited reserve like small batch
My limited
stout
reserve.
beer that's like $20 a can and then be like, I'm gonna drink this in 5 seconds.
I feel like the real missed opportunity for me here would have been to do one of those Crown and Coke mixed cocktails.
Oh no!
To Cola by Lana Del Rey.
Okay, that redeems it. That's correct.
Just real sexy like.
But I said I was a teenage anarchist, and
that's yeah.
and also TSR by Against Me, which Against Me has not got onto this playlist yet, and that feels like a crime. But I thought I Was a Teenage Anarchist was a very fun song to pick in regards, sort of like a similar vein to Taylor, being kind of like, I think it's a song that requires reflection and to think about your choices. But my sort of funny choice was I'm a Survivor by Reba McEntire, because there's something about she's a single mom who works 2 jobs who also loves a shotgun non-alcoholic beers at the club on a Tuesday, and they come home to her kids. And
she's just every morning as she goes to work, she's just standing out in front of the garage, just like cracking an NA, like.
Reba used to go hard, but
not anymore.
Now she just has her memories.
Yeah. She's a survivor.
Oh my god. Well, Tyler, if people want to go down to the honky tonk with you, where can they find you?
You can find my design illustration work at RudePets.club. And as always, you can find me on socials, Rude Pets Club on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter.
Oh, Sean, if people want to relive their days of teenage anarchy with you, where can they do that?
Instagram, Telly Sean.
And if you want to come with me to the Savior store, because apparently that's the thing I'm going to do now, you can find me on the socials at TC Olmstead. All of these songs will be on the official No Repeat podcast playlist, which is on Apple Music and Spotify. And we'll be back next week with another episode of No Repeat.